Alright everybody, now that we've gone over 5 reasons to pull for Baal, I think we should cover 5 reasons to skip Baal.
What's this?
You cannot skip eternity.
No.
Just to be fair, so that people who are indecisive about pulling for Baal will be armed with a well-rounded set of information, just so they can make the best decision that they can possibly make for their own accounts. Full disclaimer, I am a Baal simp and I'm probably going to be going for C6 on her, so before you give me the hate mail of me trashing the character, that's not the point of this video. And if you enjoy videos like these, going over the pros and cons of characters, make sure to press that subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, make sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss out whenever I put out new content. I actually have a new episode of my epic Teyvat Genshin Machinima coming out tomorrow actually, so let's play a quick trailer on that right now.
Let us cross swords. Barely a scratch. Touché.
For those of you who are new to the channel and you're wondering what the heck is all this, Epic Teyvat is a Genshin Machinima that I host on my channel where I take all your favorite Genshin characters and put them on adventures where they get into interesting fights with other Genshin characters. So if you're interested, click on the Epic Teyvat playlist down in the comments and the description below. We are 2 seasons in, and if you're a Baal fan, I've got some really big plans for her. Alright, let's get back to the video. 5 reasons why you should skip Baal. Reason 1. As of the making of this video, Electro is by far the worst element within Genshin Impact, and I think it needs to be considered if you're trying to tackle some difficult content, if it's worth actually having an Electro character on your team. Now don't get me wrong, my 2 favorite characters are Keqing and Zhongli, and pre-Geo changes, Geo and Electro were like almost tied for the worst elements in the game. You're not going to be able to proc the highest damage with Vape and Melt. You will unfreeze enemies whenever you hit them with their Electro. Now, if you have a Hydro character or a physical character that you love to play as, Electro is actually a really good element to pair with that, but it's still not the most consistent forms of damage. And of course, if you're tackling any kind of elemental enemy like a Pyro Slime or a Ice Slime or enemies of that type, where they are immune to their own elements, Electro reactions are kind of pointless because you will still do the same element type damage. Now I will say if you're casual or just starting out, this will not be that big of a deal because Electro actually scales really well early on. But as the game goes on, as the difficulty spikes up, and as you get stronger in terms of equipment and items and world level, Electro starts to fall off. This can change in the future. Also another note, Electro reactions cannot crit, so that's really what I mean. Electro, I think, was meant to be one of those support elements where it kind of synergizes with the main damage elements like Pyro, Hydro, and Cryo, but however, I think Cryo is actually the better catch-all support elements. You can proc Melt, you can freeze people, you can give Superconduct. Yeah, Electro needs some changes. Reason 2. If you don't like the character, the aesthetic, the look, or even the playstyle of Baal, save your Primo Gems for maybe a rerun of a character you really want, like Hu Tao or Ganyu, or even, wait for other Inazuma characters that might catch your eye. Baal will probably have a rerun just like Venti and Zhongli not too far in the future, so hold off for now if you're not certain that you're gonna want Baal for your team for gameplay reasons, and definitely skip if you don't care about the character. After all, Genshin Impact is not a competitive game. You don't have to follow the meta, you just remember you are playing Genshin Impact for fun first and foremost, and if you're not having fun with this character that cost you a bunch of Primo Gems, then don't do it. Reason 3. I find it a little bit awkward that her main draw as a character, at least so far from the speculative data that we have, Baal is looking to be one of the best batteries out there, but I have some concerns about that role. As somebody who clears Abyss floor 12 on a regular at 9 stars, I usually don't struggle with energy generation, And let me be clear, I'm not trying to flex here. I'm just saying it's not even like the first 3 things I think of when I start to build a team for harder content. I do think it's probably because of how I build artifacts. I always try to take into consideration the optimal energy recharge for the individual characters, so that way they are not reliant on other teammates and instead are able to slot into any team they want. Now, with that said, this means that with Baal being a great battery, able to produce a lot of energy particles, and to just straight up refund energy to teammates, this will allow you to focus less on energy recharge and more on attack stats like attack percent, crit damage, crit rate, and elemental mastery. At C0, it seems that a lot of other people can kind of do what Baal is meant to do, which is be a battery. However, after going through paywalls, that completely changes. Baal's C6 is freaking insane, completely game changing, shaving 5 seconds of hard cooldown off of elemental burst for your team. Whew, that's going to definitely be meta defining, like Zhongli Jade Shield post buff meta defining. That is a crazy constellation. I did wish most of her kit played around with maybe the hard cooldown timer of elemental skills, elemental bursts, instead of just being an energy recharge character. Reason 4. You are Team Ye. Now, before all of you Team Baals say, Varsona, how could you? You betrayed us. Let me tell you, in my last life, I was a Ye simp.
Yahoo! You'll never see it coming. You see that my mind is the best for eyes. You're
You didn't see that coming, now did ya? Reason 5. Based on the speculative data that we have, after she uses her elemental burst, which has a currently 18 to 20 seconds hard cooldown, she has 7 seconds in her sword form that lets her deal electro damage. In my Should You Pull video, I mentioned something about maybe having that sword form duration be longer dependent on how much resolve stacks you consume when you use your burst. Resolve stacks being something unique to Baal, and if you're curious about how that works, check out my 5 reasons to pull for Baal. I go into a little bit more detail on how these resolve stacks work and how to generate them. And yeah, sure, I think Baal should be a support character and her DPS form should be limited, but I also think that rewarding people for achieving maximum resolve stacks with a higher sword duration is actually a really good way of solving the whole play it your way type of character. Now, play it your way is what I would define a character that can be built multiple ways. If you want Zhongli to be your shield tank only with high HP, you can do that. If you want him to be a burst support, you can do that. If you want to build him as a physical DPS main carry, you can do that. This variance in gameplay is something that I look forward to in a lot of characters, and sure, if you give longer sword duration on Baal, that means she can fit into a main DPS role more reliably because she can do more electro damage with a normal or charge attacks without having to wait 10 plus seconds for her burst to come back. And not only that, but her C6 does not affect herself, so she cannot shave the burst time off of herself. Sure, when it comes out and that sword form being like really busted in terms of damage might be the reason why it's only locked to 7 seconds, that's understandable, but however, I still think having a way to shave longer cooldown, whether it be through constellations or through good reward feedback mechanics such as building up full resolve, would actually alleviate a lot of the pain points for some people who want to play Baal as a main DPS. Me. But I'm sure I'm not alone, and I'm speaking for everybody out there who loves the sword form of Baal and wants to be in it for as long as possible. Oh, and what do you think? Are you going to skip Baal, or are you going to pull for her? Let me know in the comments. And there you have it, folks. 5 reasons why you should skip Baal. I'll catch you in the next video, so make sure to turn on the notification bell so we can talk again.